As you can see behind me, we have an example here of a ranch that was able to keep cattle on premises after the tidal surge and through the storm. Fences held up really well. These cattle over time were needing some fresh water. We had checked the water sources here 2 days after the storm and knew that the water was somewhat salty. We did not know exactly if there were any other freshwater drinking holes around, but we had been in observation of these cattle for several days. Upon finding a spot that we tested and was fresh enough for the cattle to consume, we realized that that little hole was about to dry up, that they drank about all the water out of there that they could. At that point in time, the producer was given the information that it was probably time to try to get fresh water here, and thus you can see they have been hauling fresh water to these cattle, and these cattle have responded to the fresh water. They look considerably different today than they did when we first got in here. Of course, the storm had an effect, but you can just tell by looking at them, they feel a lot better. Their skin tone and their hide is a little tighter. So we do see the effects of the fresh water. One of the things that is very necessary to think of, if you know your cattle have been drinking brackish water or high salt water, it is very imperative that you do not give them all they want to drink when you first get the water here. This particular producer the tank they have is not that big, but in reality it was probably a good thing that he could only haul so much at a time, because the cattle would only be able to drink a little bit at a time. So when we know cattle have been on brackish water for an extended period of time, it is very necessary to remember that they cannot tolerate a lot of fresh water immediately after drinking salt water for a while. To the extent and how many gallons, we're talking 3 or 4 maybe gallons every hour or two if possible. If that's not possible, we're just going to have to move a group into fresh water and move them out. I know that sounds like a lot of work, but there can be substantial problems that arise if we get fresh water into cattle that have been on brackish water too fast. So that's just one point we'd like to stress is we've got to bring them on to fresh water a little at a time.